Hi, Jess. How are you?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here with you.
I am so happy we're able to make this work. You know, I have a girl crush on you. So finally, I get to like meet you in public.
It's
For
mutual. It's
yeah, for all of
mutual.
us that don't know, I met Jess at a PR event by my friend Victoria Lampley, and she's just like this ray of sunshine. And I didn't know who she was. I didn't know what she did, but she like always brought this light into the room, and I was like, I just need to be friends with this person. So
So sweet.
I am like forcing you to be my friend while being on this podcast now.
You're so sweet, and we are friends, and it is official. We also have Monica Mendel's a mutual friend. Like we found out we have all of these, you
Exactly.
know, sweet little connections. And I think Victoria is the ray of sunshine too.
I
You
know.
and Victoria Lampley both just
She's like
rays.
a Care Bear. Like,
Yes,
you know how the Care Bears have like the thing like this and it's just like rainbow coming through.
yes.
It's exactly like what she is.
You
With
can't
glitter.
help but be hit with the rainbow. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, and diamonds. You know, a lot of diamonds. Like very big diamonds, like stuck there.
This is true. And 18 and 24 karat gold.
Yeah. Don't mess around. Don't mess around with 14 carats on her, please. I wanted to kind of like start like from the beginning. Like, where did you grow up? Where are you from? Tell me everything.
So I grew up in Boca Raton, Florida, essentially in a beautiful bubble of a retirement community.
That's what I would pick everything in like pastel colors. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
I'm
That was
Gucci
pretty much
prints.
it. Golf course right there in the backyard, and it was a very happy, lovely life. It was, but it was different for sure. And as you get older and go out into the world, you look back behind you and say that was weird. That was definitely different from the rest of the world for
And
sure.
then you moved to New York, or what was the next move?
I went to school at the University of Wisconsin Madison. Got the real like rah college experience and the snow and everything about that. And then moved right to New York City. I knew that's where I always wanted to be. Um,
And then did you
so
meet your husband
it was
there,
time.
or did you miss your husband in college?
Met my husband in New York, like a
Oh,
true New York story.
how do you meet him?
He was so two things. He was my neighbor. We lived in the same building in Greenwich Village.
No way.
Um, and he also was is so my best friend from college, my roommate Jamie, her then boyfriend, now husband, is his first cousin. So it's a little bit of like a I know. So now I'm related. She's my cousin now, but
Oh my god.
so we had this mutual connection in that way. But we lived in the same building. That's how we kept up this friendship, and it was truly a platonic, beautiful friendship for a couple of years. Um,
And then
that blossomed into
how did
more.
it blossom? One day he just came and he was like, "I've been in love with you for 2 years. Please give me the time of day." Like, how did this work?
Yes, that's actually
It sounds like a typical like romantic like Lifetime movie about New York. And then there were neighbors too, and then there were best friends, and then
it. It was. I would put it on HBO over Lifetime, but it
yeah,
was.
okay. I mean that's fair. Make it a little bit edgier, a little bit more Sex and the City meets.
Exactly. No, it was. I mean, it was amazing. It came as a shock to me. We were truly just best buddies, um, and I did not think he thought of me that way, and it was the most shocking, amazing thing. And it wasn't so much I'm in love with you, let's get married. It was like I really like you. Like I want to see what this could be. And I was like, yeah, I agree. Okay.
Let's do it. I mean, that must have been terrifying too, because I feel like if you have like a deep friendship with someone, it's like, oh fuck, now I have a lot to risk. But then I also have a lot to risk if I don't do this, you know. So it's just like a weird. You kind of have to jump at that point.
I had to jump. I had to jump.
And then was there? I mean, my husband thinks I'm super cheesy about this, but like I think that there's a point and you meet someone and there's a specific point when you're like, I want to procreate with this human being. Like, and I don't know if it's in a date. Like for me, I mean, it happened very quick. So for me, it kind of happened like the first night I met him, which is really weird. But like,
Yeah.
I was like, I want to have his babies. Like, not only like, you know what I mean? Like, this is my person. Like, I want him to be the example for my children. Was there a moment that you can be like, where, or something little that he did or something that made you like, like he's gonna be an amazing dad, like to my babies. No
That's a
one else.
great question. It was pretty early on. It was in the friendship that I thought that, honestly, that he would be an amazing dad. So then when it all happened between he and I, and that like major shift happened from friendship to relationship, it was already there for me.
Yeah,
Um
you kind of. I mean, I guess it makes it a lot easier if you guys were friends from the beginning too.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you clearly do like that human. Everyone gets so stuck in like the romance of it all, which is amazing. But like, you know, when you're running a house, it's not about the romance anymore. It's really like team, like, I'm sure it's like running a company in a way, it's like really like the whole team needs to be working. It's not
It's
as
true.
passionate anymore.
Oh, it's true. We had this amazing foundation, this like best friendship. We would go out together, we would go to brunch, we would do things together as just friends. So it was like very easy to just flip a switch and do the same things. Now being able to sort of be open with our, attraction and feelings for each other. Um,
And then you get married right away, or like, did you make him wait, or 2 years was long enough?
we didn't, it wasn't right away. We dated for some years. We had a lot of fun. He proposed, I don't know how many years later, a couple years later. We took a long time to plan. We took like 2 years to plan the wedding. We weren't in a rush, and we really wanted it to be, we wanted to bring something to life that was like very much in our heads and very special. And we knew it was going to take time. So the whole way through, like we didn't feel rushed, and there wasn't a rush on each other, but we were on the same page, which was very fortunate. I can't say that about all of my past relationships. Like that was just a very
How old
lucky.
were you? More or less.
I think I was 31 when we got married. 30.
Okay, so you met him in your 20s, which is amazing.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
amazing. Okay, so you kind of grew up together. I feel like the 20s are this very pivotal moment where, like, I don't think anyone should get married in their 20s because, like, a lot changes. But if you manage to like go through your 20s together, it's like you should be fine for like later on to get married and
Yeah.
like still work together. But it's
Yeah. And
a lot of changes.
it's true. And my 20s were on the rougher side. I lost my dad, who is my real best friend, and Jason was my close friend at the time and was really there for me. So I feel like I did have these highs and lows with him in that friendship role, and always just felt so supported and taken care of by him emotionally. And again, then when the flip switched, I felt like, yeah, this is my person, because like we've been through stuff, real stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. I met my husband a month after my dad passed away, and literally like divine timing. I had just moved to LA, and I met him the first night we met. We're like talking about, he had a previous relationship before, and I was very aggressive. So I was like, why do you break up with her? Like, you probably cheated on her. And then he like tells me this whole story. And like in the middle of the story was like her father dying, and him being there for her through her father dying. And I start sobbing on the first date. And I'm like, who was there for you? Like, because no one had been there for me when my dad died. And like to see that there was like men, like, because I always had such a bad idea of men and like men being toxic, because I come from like really bad relationships, to seeing this genuinely good man that was there through someone else, like for someone else going through something like this, was just that's what I was just like, oh my god, like I don't know, something clicked, and then like timing and the whole thing, and I'm like, I feel like there's something very beautiful and very tragic about losing your dad, and like having people around, because it is your first love in a way, like, because that is
Definitely.
like your
Definitely.
grounding thing, like especially any parent really, like it really is your grounding forces, you know?
Yep.
And like for someone to have been there through that, it automatically feels like, okay, you're family.
First of all, I'm so sorry that you went through that and went through that alone. I also really believe that for people like you and I, like I really do believe this, that our dads not being down here with us, but being up there, like people in our paths and help. Like I have felt that since my dad passed away, the universe has opened up for me, truly.
Yeah.
Like occurrences, opportunities, people, things have happened that just feel otherworldly
Yeah,
in
like
their
someone is
amazing.
watching over you.
Yes.
I mean, if this like
For
jam,
you, for this to happen for you a month after he passed away, and when Jason came to me and told me he wanted to be with me,
yeah,
I think that was, I'll tell you, that was, I mean, it was a couple months after my dad passed away, but
yeah.
same thing.
I think I don't know, like now having kids, right? Like you have two, I have two now too. I have been forced to really think about death like I've never had before because I'm so scared of dying, not because of me dying, but because of my kids. Like
Of
I
course,
don't want to leave them,
of
you
course.
know? And there's this constant like who would take care of them? What would happen to them? Like we still haven't even like had like the final papers, which we're very late on to like even like because it's such a heavy decision. It's like who's gonna give them what I would want to give them and like the education and the support and like the time to like really be there for them. And it's kind of beautiful, but like if I'm gone, like I would try to do that from wherever I am in the space of energy, you know?
Of
So it
course.
makes sense that
You literally move heaven and earth, of course.
it was like I'm gonna push the right people. Maybe I did, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna have a support system, like no matter what, even if I'm not there. Yep.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
You're
It
a girl
is,
mom now. Tell me,
yes.
you're a girl mom.
I have two. I feel good. I feel complete. Well, what
You,
about you?
I want more. I want one more. Adam is not sure. I also don't know. Like, I just want to have a girl, right? But I don't know if I have the bandwidth as they are getting older. I think it's very easy to say when you have little babies because babies are easy. Everyone is terrified of babies. I love babies. Babies are great. They sit, they stay where.
Babies are not easy. I love that you're saying that, and that tells me that you definitely should have more, because if you're saying that, then you are ready for more babies.
It's just the babies though. Like I have a toddler now, not easy. He has opinions. He like says things. I'm
I
like,
know.
I had to potty train him like last week, and that was hell. Like hell. Like there should be a service where people like come and do this for you. I was happy with you guys come like delivery. I did not have to ever end. Like I was
I
like
know.
not
But
happening.
no age is, I think no age is easy. But it's just different types of problems are presented and issues come up. But the fact that you're saying babies are easy, point blank, you should be having more babies.
I just like babies. The problem is that they grow up, and then what am I going to do with smelly teens or like hormonal teens? When my like, you know, like my 11-year-old daughter wants to go to Sephora for her birthday party, and I'm gonna be like, "What are you talking about?"
I don't want to rush anything. I want to enjoy every moment. But I'm like, I have nieces and nephews that are older, and it's so it's like they're people. It's like unbelievable.
They are human. It's yeah, yeah. It was weird for me because I didn't grow up around that many boys. I guess because I was in an
Mm.
all-girls school and everything, so I didn't know what boys were going to be like. So it's all like a new discovery for me. Like
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like the whole thing has been very much like a healing experience of like men can be good. You know, first I meet Adam and now I have like two sons and I'm
Yes.
good. Like, you know what I
Of
mean?
course. Yes, of
So
course.
it's gonna be interesting as they grow up to kind of like see like that
And
develop.
you're raising, the boys we need. You're raising these empathetic, beautiful,
Yeah.
special guys that are going to,
No,
make the
we
world
can set them
better.
up. They're gonna be good catches. We can
My
set them.
sister has two boys. She just had her second, and it's funny because it was she and I growing up. We have older half siblings, but she'll call me and be like, "This is happening," and I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you. Like that's I don't know what to do with that or that information. Like I wish I could help you. It is like a whole different
It's
funny
a
thing."
whole different thing of body parts that I don't have, so I can't like
Yes.
relate to like how they function. And even now with the potty training, I'm like, you have to pull it down. Like I don't know. That is not my area of expertise. And I told my husband, like, this is on you. You do that.
Wait, talk to me about the potty training. What are you doing exactly?
Everyone told me I needed to have him naked. So I bought him. My son is obsessed with princesses. So I had to buy him princess underwear that was
Perfect.
too girly. Like I could find some sort of a fine line in between this with that would help.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So
Pragmatic princess. Yeah, yeah.
he's obsessed with princesses, like
I love
obsessed.
that.
Like, all he cares about my 3-year-old. So I was like, okay, I bought those, and then he was not wearing them. Like he was not wearing anything for 3 days.
Yep.
And there were accidents. I have a lot of vintage furniture. I refuse to like change my house because I have kids. So I was literally going around behind him with towels, like, you know what I mean, in case if there's an accident, it doesn't happen in my couch type thing. And I'm like, please don't in the couch. I'm like, let's go outside. Why don't we go outside? So at least the poop incident that happened did happen outside.
Oh my God.
So I was very thankful. He was mortified. And then after that, I've never been happier for like Monday at school. Here you go. Here's this. 3 changes of clothes, 5 different like underwears with princesses.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Okay, now what?
He's asking, like he's saying I have to go. Like
Great.
yeah. This was last Friday, so like now he's asking and stuff. So I'm like very thankful for that. But
You made it over like the hardest part, I think. Like
I'm
that.
scared this weekend because we're gonna leave the house now. So what
Yeah.
happens when you leave the house and you have to use toilets outside of the house? Like, how old are your daughters?
I have a 4.5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old.
Okay, so
And
at least one is potty trained now.
yes.
Yeah.
And
How was that for you?
it was pretty good because I feel like given, I work for a diaper company, so I'm thinking about that and that transition to independence, and that's always what we're pushing for. We're a diaper company that's obsessed with kids getting out of diapers and finding that independence. So it's on my mind a lot during my day,
Yeah.
honestly. So when it came to my oldest Penelope, I treated it a little bit like a work experiment in some ways, and I didn't want to put too much pressure on it. I wanted to make it kind of like a conversation with her. And I do often think that it's one size fits one, right? It's not one size fits all. I don't think there are these blanket methodologies of like, this is what's good for every kid is so different. And you as a parent know your kid and you know what's going to work for you, for them, for your house, for your gorgeous furniture, for all of those things. Like we never did the run around naked method, like and follow with a towel.
My husband, like,
I know.
divorced. There was like he was peeing random, and of course he was stressed out because I'm asking him every 15 minutes, and he's like, I don't want to go every 15 minutes. Like, it was not. I mean, maybe with the second one we'll do better, but like this was not like pleasant experience. I was
And
like,
maybe it'll be great with your second. Like that's the thing. Every kid is different. And what I know about Penelope is her, like the love languages, her love language is gifts. Period. Girl loves a gift. So
Yeah.
I was like, we're going to bribe. We're going to bribe. And it worked.
It does help. Like even when he was having the teacher take a photo of him pooping in the toilet, which is disgusting. But like
That's cute. No, he's proud. Yes.
he was proud, and I was like, if you poop in the toilet, I'm gonna get you a cupcake because I never really give them sugar. So he was like, I need my cupcake. I will pick him up. I'm like, here's your cupcake. Please, by all means, go run around in your sugar rush. I'll be happy that you poop in the toilet. I also never thought that I was gonna think about poop so much in my life or make songs about poop.
Same.
I used to be so cool, Jess. Like I swear, like
You are so cool. I've seen you out. Like you are the coolest.
I used to be so cool, and I'm like singing in the potty, like like a poo poo song, and like with that stack of like books and like reading him books, so he's like not scared. It was just like this is a lot.
The things we do for love and our kids. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
totally.
How did you become the CEO of Cottery? Were you always in the baby space, or how did you get there?
I was not in the baby space at all. I was a creative director for a long time in the advertising industry. And then I went to a startup called Lola, a feminine care brand, and I was leading creative and brands and all of that there. And then after that, in looking for my next role, I got connected with the founder of Coterie, and I was a new mom at the time, and Coterie was a very new brand at the time, very new to market. I tried the diapers myself and was entirely blown away by the quality. Diaper rash went away, sleep was happening, the feel. And then when I really got to dig in and understand why the diaper itself is so much better, the way it's truly over engineered with the amount of layering and sap, and the way that the liquid is very quickly wicked away off of the skin. That's what prevents that diaper rash, and that's what helps keep babies sleeping through the night. All of these factors, got me really excited as a creative marketer, because when you have a product that is so demonstrably better and you're able to create a brand around that and tell stories around that, it makes it all the more inspiring and real. And that's what this opportunity was for me. And I got to come in and reimagine all of that with an incredible team, and then becoming the chief brand officer. And then as of beginning of last summer, becoming the CEO.
Big titles. Big taco. It's a really big deal. I mean, it's a really big deal, obviously, because I love the brand, but like, I think it's a really big deal. You have 2 kids now. And I think that a lot of women wait a long time to have kids because they're constantly afraid that it's going to stagger their career. And they're so scared of like it kind of just being like, okay, now I'm a mom and I cannot be a CEO and I cannot be like aiming higher in my career. For you, it seems like having kids almost propelled your career in a way.
It did. It definitely did. I think for me, having kids, I simply can't waste any time anymore, right? Like every moment is precious. And in times when I need to be focused, I fully am. I'm able to just be more present throughout day and night. I can't tell you the amount of hours I would spend, watching Bravo and all of that. I still watch Bravo, but I think I realized that I wasn't actually utilizing all of the time I could have in the past. And now it's like, okay, every moment has to count. I think it's a personal thing, but it's also the environment that you're in, right? Like it's important to be working at a place where you are supported and also kind of held up because you're a parent, and you're given that sort of the respect to be treated like an adult, for lack of a better term. Like, for instance, we have a lot of parents that work here. You could imagine. We don't have an office. We literally, we don't have an office. We are fully work from home, because that's easier for parents. That creates a more productive, and sort of collaborative environment for us. And everybody is so high functioning and effective and knows exactly what they need to do to get things done. And we have people on the different coasts. We have people everywhere, and everyone, takes care of their stuff and feels, the responsibility and the pride that they can really do it in the way that works for them.
Yeah.
I think that we have a lot of, parental leaves happening all the time. And it's something that is celebrated here. And it's important, if you're a parent, if you want to be a parent, also just be in an environment where you see others in that role being respected and not held back because of it. But the opposite should be happening.
Well, it's also scary because there's no laws to protect you as a parent in this country either, right? So the fact that there's not even like a specific maternal leave that you can take, and it does make you feel, especially if you are, I'm lucky that I work, I work remotely, I work consulting. My husband kind of has the same business model.
Yes.
We have a startup, and like we kind of are doing things kind of like how you guys are doing it at Cottery. We just don't think people are high functioning at an office space where they have to be there 10 hours a day. I don't think anyone is. They're going to be on their phone or like whatever, so I think
I used to do that. I was socializing all day. You end up just,
and even from a business perspective, then you're paying for these fancy offices that are there for people to like go chit and chat. Like, at least it feels a lot more intentional. You go, you have the meeting, everyone is there, everyone is fully focused there, and then they can go about their day. But what I feel like it also feels very interesting to me is the fact that like you guys are preaching all these things, right? But it really seems like at the core of the company culture, you guys are doing those things for each other as a parent community too.
That was paramount for me. That was paramount for me. Even before becoming CEO, when I came to work here, I needed to be at a place that walks the talk. I couldn't espouse and speak to and storytell and connect with parents and not take care of our own and be that for each other.
Do
To
you
me,
think
that
that
would be
because
untenable.
you have two kids and obviously you had them in different times in your career, um, how was your first experience going back to work versus the second one?
Different.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had like, did you have maternity leave before or
I
not?
did.
You did.
I
Okay.
did. But it's I think what's important to remember, and our team here knows this really well, it's not just about the leave, it's also about how you're welcomed back and how that feels. It is a transition. Um and for everybody it's really different. People have different experiences, birthing and non-birthing parents. How is each parent's individual health and recovery, and what is that like? How is your baby doing?
Also, how you are doing mentally. Like, I remember the first time I
Correct.
went to a photo shoot after my first one, I was crying all the way there. I was crying all the way back. I felt like I was abandoning my child, that he needed me and I couldn't be there. And I felt like a horrible mom.
You got it. Yeah. Yeah.
It,
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So having people be able to come back after, having 16 weeks fully paid and off, and then be able to, in a space where I feel like you do lose so much control having a baby, to be able
yeah.
to take control back and dictate, with your manager, what exactly your ramp back in looks like and what that transition should feel like. And that is paramount
So
for
that's advice too. So
a
you
great
literally
experience.
sit and talk to like the person that you're working with, and then you start kind of like building up like what that's supposed
Yes.
to look together.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's
Yes.
amazing.
Um, yeah, because it doesn't stop. That support can't just be about
Yeah. The first 2 months or 3 months
a
or like,
leave. Yeah.
yeah.
It's then bringing them back into work and giving them sort of the support, the space, the what they need. And everybody's different.
And do you find that because I feel like a lot of CEOs or people kind of like in power are afraid to do these things because they feel like people wouldn't be as productive? What has been your experience by doing things differently?
People are more productive. And I think I truly do. And, it shows in the output of our business and our success. It shows in our retention of employees. I feel it every day. People are happy to be here and be on this team and feel that gratitude and want to go the extra mile, right? I think like there's this
Yeah.
is my job, this is what I'm supposed to do, these are my roles, responsibilities on paper, and then there's that extra push we've all felt and given to places when you care,
Well, you
really,
feel
like
like
when
you're
you,
part of something. Like
yes,
I'm part of it. I'm
and you're
not.
proud,
Yeah, of course. Because I mean, I feel like work intrinsically is just something that we do for so long, so many hours in the day, right? So it can just be you go, you check in, you check out, and then that's fine. But when you really get to work in projects that you're actually excited about, you want to give extra hours and extra time because you're part of it. Like
Right.
it's a living, breathing identity. Like, you know what
Yes,
I mean? Like of something that you're putting your time in and you want it to grow, kind of like your child.
exactly.
Are there any parenting like things that you've learned along the way that you feel have made you a better leader or that you're applying constantly at work?
I think it is that understanding that we can all be quick to make assumptions about what people's experiences are like being a parent, having kids. And I think really getting sort of a one-on-one, more personal understanding of how different people feel and what they want out of an experience and what's going to actually motivate them and be the most supportive for them isn't always the same. And being able to treat people on an individual level with that goes such a long way goes such a long way. And I just wouldn't want to work in an environment that was any different from that, let alone, be at the helm of one.
Yeah. What do you think has been like the most surprising thing or like shocking thing since becoming a mom?
The obsession maybe with my kids. Like I, I never felt that like obsessive quality where it's like I can't get enough of them. I can be exhausted by them, but I can't get enough of them. And it is kind of this like they can do no wrong. Even like when they're driving me nuts, like it's cute.
I know. It's a problem. Like I literally was waking up like was it yesterday? My son just came and like it's like he's the boyfriend I always wanted to have that can do no wrong and he's the most beautiful and like he's just like looking in my eyes and like touching my face and then my husband is just like looking at me like
What's going on over there? I know.
harassing me and he's like I'm like why don't you look at me like that? I'm like no one ever I'm like this is true love. Like I literally feel like it's exploding.
It's like it's the truest love. It's wild. And just seeing little bits of me and my husband in them is so special and funny. And it's like, especially my old one, we say like really is like an embodiment of me, and my little one is my husband. And it's just like it's really cute to
It's so funny. I feel like
play
my
out.
first one personality wise is me, and my second one is literally
There you go.
like
What's been the biggest surprise for you?
how much I was gonna love it, and how much I wanted it to be my identity. I was so scared of like losing myself
Yeah.
in the whole thing, but I was just so shocked by how much I really just enjoy it. I
It's
mean,
true.
I feel it.
You guys want to say hi?
Hi,
One.
hi, little baby.
This is
Hi.
Quinn, and this is come.
Oh my god, we have special
Okay.
today. Hi.
This
How are
is
you guys?
Victoria.
How are you guys? They
You
really
want
both look like you too.
to?
Did you clone yourself twice? What has been the most chaotic thing that ever happened to you in like, working from home moment? This is
Things
like
like this, where it's like, we're like, sitting in a board meeting and things like this happening. But I feel like it's
but it
given
lightens
the industry, it's par for the course.
well, and it lightens things up. Like I feel like then it's just like you cannot be even if you're having a bad day. Who can have a bad day when there's like a cute little baby popping by?
It's
You
true.
up.
It's true. It's true. And it's sort of, you can't take things too seriously, right?
Yeah.
So
I feel that working in the parenting space, especially, there's all these trends on TikTok and social media constantly. Is there one that just made you recently be like, oh my God, and then you just had to like roll your eyes?
there's a lot. There's a lot. I think what I just on a personal level especially have a problem with is like the fear mongering, the greenwashing, that type of stuff. I think that like there are people, brands, whatever, that like to instill that angst,
Yeah.
and it in places that are unnecessary, but it's for the virality of it, right? And it's like that makes me quite upset because I feel like it's taking advantage of a group that is looking for answers and data and stability in certain places. And yeah, that would be my idol.
Because I feel like, I have friends that have kids in Europe, and the whole experience after you have kids is different because you do have a support system that like comes over and like they're constantly checking on you and they give you more data and they do give you more points. So I feel like in America, it's a very lonely experience, unless you have an amazing family and that's just, you're very lucky. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But it's just a lot. It's not like the state gives you all these tools for you to find. So then you're scrolling at night already with a lot of anxiety because
Exactly.
you have not slept you're probably not eating well, you're exhausted, and then on this like already very manic state, because it's very manic at the beginning because you're not sleeping, you'll
Correct.
find information, and then people are just like trying to pick, prey on you to sell you things.
Correct. Correct.
It is very
Correct.
scary. I agree. I'd be
I once spiraled because I had sushi and then was breastfeeding, and then I saw something that was like, you shouldn't do that. And it's like, you know, there have been many moments when I've had to say to myself, like, put the phone down, put the phone down. This is not healthy.
Yeah. Especially, I feel for me when I was pregnant with my first one, and towards the end, those like last couple of weeks that feel eternal. And they're like years, and I'm like so big and I can't sleep. And all I'm doing is Googling all these random things. And I was driving myself insane.
Yeah, it's true.
So much anxiety. I'm like, that cannot be good for anyone.
It's true. It's really true. I
You
know.
but I have to say, like, I have found like things like on TikTok, and like not for products, but like little trends that I was like, okay, maybe. I keep seeing now recently this one of like giving butter to your kids so they sleep through the night. Is butter really that bad? Maybe if it's French butter, like, like.
No, let me be clear. Like, there are so many tips and tricks and, really helpful advice that I've gotten from from everything. And then there's a smaller but real group that I would say, like, not helpful, only making me nervous, and probably.
Is there any advice that you would give, like moms especially, or like women that are kind of like looking into like either getting back into the workplace or thinking into becoming mothers, about like how to do it or how to find a way that feels right for them?
This probably isn't popular advice, but I think that you only have one life to live, and
is that a princess? Wow. Did you change something? Oh my goodness. She's even wearing a bag and a necklace? Oh my God. Hi.
Okay, I'm gonna come in a second. Okay, you sit right there. I would say you have one life to live. Pursue and go after exactly what you want with all the confidence in the world, and don't stay in a situation that you're not happy in, because again, you only have this one life. So if you are getting back into the workforce, you end up at a place and you're like, this isn't for me, don't justify it with, but I'm a new mom and I gotta no, you leave and you find something else, and it may take time, but don't get discouraged by that environment. Seek out and work to create the one that is going to be fulfilling, because you deserve that.
So 2 more questions, because I know you have. How do you deal with mom guilt? Yes, I need to know.
I go back to that age old idiom. What is it? Put your oxygen mask on first.
Yeah.
And I know myself well enough, as I'm sure you do, to know like what that oxygen mask is and what forms it takes. And if you aren't taking care of yourself and doing what you need to do for yourself personally, for your career, all of those, then you can't show up fully for your kids. So I'm reminding myself of that all the time.
What does your support system look like at home?
I have an amazing babysitter that we're lucky enough lives with us. We just moved to the suburbs and she's with us, and it's a dream. Yeah. And I also have my sister and my mom nearby. I'm very, very lucky.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
And your husband helps, or no?
I would venture to say he does more than I do.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go girl, dad. He's just in a princess outfit next door with the girls. Don't worry. Join
He
bar.
has a Prince Charming costume that she makes him put on. Yes, I know.
Um, I think for some reason after having kids, the one word that we couldn't escape, which is funny enough because both my parents and my husband's parents kept talking about, was this idea of legacy, right? And it's not something that I feel for us we ever thought about until we had children. But
Yeah.
like now it kind of becomes kind of like a guiding light of like what we do and why we do the things that we do. What do you want your legacy to be?
It's interesting, and I don't know if you. I would venture to guess you might have a similar feeling, but that ideal actually came into my head pre-kids. It was when my dad passed away, because I was forced to confront that with him, and all I could hope for is just a smidge of what his legacy is. And I wish that I had longer with my dad, but every second I had with him was special and warm and present and full of unquantifiable levels of advice. And I now get to walk through life and know exactly how he would guide me. And you know people often harken back to him on a regular basis around me, and how special he was. Kind, generous. um they don't talk about successes. They don't talk, they don't, that's not what is part of the conversation. It's the way that he made people feel. And that's what it's all about. That's all I could ask for.
Yeah. I mean, I also think that you happen to also be making a difference in how you're leading and kind of how you're leading your team and hopefully changing kind of, corporate culture a little bit by, how differently you guys are doing things and how fast you guys are growing. Because, not in spite, but because of the way that you guys are doing things, which gives me a lot of hope in the world as well.
I hate to think that that's a unique thing. It kind of drives me crazy, but you're right. Yeah. It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, right? But I hope that when, our kids are of age, when they're like, looking for jobs, this is not a thing. But maybe if
Correct.
there's enough of us creating a difference, eventually it will be just common sense that this is the way things are in
Of
America.
course.
Thank you so much for being here and being part of Zillion Trillion. It really means a lot. I really look up to you. I think you're doing incredible things. I think you're an amazing mom, and I'm just very, very thankful that you were able to make some time to come talk to us.
I'm so grateful, and I look up to you. So there.
There you go. Bubble. Unity. Thank you.